Hi, I'm Rob Caughron. I'm a certified flight instructor here at Inflight in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. Today we're going to kind of walk you through your basic pre-flight. So we typically start off with a little tin you get issued when you want to take the aircraft. And inside of it, it's going to have all the information that you're going to need. First of all is you're going to be logging the hobs and time for your pay period and stuff, and the checklist of what we're going to be using. So come on with me, we'll walk our way through this. Kind of start at the beginning. Every aircraft is going to be a little bit different, but they're pretty much the same. But we use the checklist just to verify that we're not going to be missing anything on here. So review the aircraft maintenance and status sheets. That's in the little tin that we get, and we're verifying the hobs time and the tack time on the aircraft. So we know that it doesn't need an oil change or a 100-hour or any other discrepancies that were noted from the previous flight. Parking brake. The parking brake is off. Our control lock. We've got a control lock here that we need to take off for a moment. This little guy right here, we tend to just kind of put it in the back seat. At least that way the next student always knows where it's at. Certificates. The POH, weight and balance. Here's the POH that's required to be in the airplane. Okay. And we also have weight and balance. We have a nice little sheet that stays right in with the aircraft so all the students know about it. Okay, so that's there. Looking good. We also have another acronym, AERO. Airworthiness, registration. All of this is in the back of the aircraft. We know those are sitting right there. The registration is in the backside. The airworthiness must be visible to the pilots and passengers. Okay. Avionics, make sure those are all off. We have a master avionics switch over here, and that is off. The ELT, there's nothing flashing, so that looks good. Battery switches. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put the flaps down. Battery comes on. I'm going to put the flaps down first because it takes a lot of juice. Now once the flaps are down, I'm going to turn all the lights on, and I'm going to do a quick walk around just to verify if we're going to fly this airplane at night. We've got the nav lights, landing lights, the strobes, and everything else. Now at the same time, I also turn on the pitot heat, and you'll notice I start on this side first. So red and strobes working there. I work my way around to the back side. These are working. Yep. And we got the strobe and the green working here. And my landing and my taxi light are still working on this too. And the reason that I go this direction is because by the time I make it back over to the pilot's side door, I can reach up here. I turned on the pitot heat, and by now it's got a little bit of temperature to it, so you know the pitot heat's working. Now I'm going to go ahead and just turn everything off. Okay, so fuel indicators, we checked those, they were looking good. The lights, flaps, all switches off. Come back here, I got a couple more things I need to get. Fuel dip, we always dip the tanks. And I'm going to get a sample of fuel. So as we walk out of the cockpit, we're going to start right here. Check a little fuel. And what we're looking in here is for water and sediment. So as we work our way around, back to the flaps. We're checking the guides and rollers, the adjustment screws. Got a little bit of play. It's not all bound up. We're going to come over here to the aileron. Things I want to check in here is the piano hinge. If you're outside, always hold on to this. If you don't want a gust of wind to come in and get your finger stuck up in here, it's going to hurt. The other adjustment screw, make sure that's nice and taut. And we're checking the other piano hinge right up in this area. I work my way around to the outside, looking for any holes, cracks. Here's a little crack. If you do find one, we try to get it stop drilled. And you can kind of see right there. Talk to a mechanic. They'll put a little drill. It takes the stress out of it, so it looks a little better. Checking the edges, make sure nothing's been beat up or banged. The leading edge of the wing, you want to make sure that it hasn't been ran into something. Stall horn, we're going to check that. That works. Sometimes it's tricky to get up there. Fuel vent, it's on the back side. This is going to the left-hand tank. There's going to be a line within inside the wing. It's going to go through the cabin to the other side for the right tank. You want to make sure that's clear. If the aircraft's been sitting for any length of time, you might have spiders trying to make a little home and clog it up. Not a good thing. Pitot tube, same thing here. Make sure you're clear here. And there's a little drain hole in the back. Okay. At this point, I'm kind of looking at the tire. We've got air. We've just had new brakes put on it. We don't have any hydraulics leaking or anything like that. Coming up, I'll go ahead and check the fuel. We want to dip the tanks. Okay. I'm showing 15 gallons. I like to dip them about 2 or 3 times just to make sure I get an accurate reading. And then make sure the fuel cap is on. They should be facing forward to aft. Okay. While I'm up here, I like to look down the wings, just see if anything's different. You know, antennas, make sure that they're still intact. Nothing's been snapped or broken off. Back to the side here. I kind of like to look at the hinges on the doors, make sure that they're attached and looking okay. We got a static port right here. We like to make sure that's clean. The aircraft gets cleaned quite a bit. You want to make sure that it's not clogged up with wax or dirt or anything else like that. Looking at the screws for the cowling, I like to make sure that they're all intact. I'll give the cowling a good shake just to make sure nothing's breaking loose. Okay. Coming around to the front, always give the propeller a lot of respect. Checking the leading edge of it, make sure we don't have any big nicks or cracks or anything like that in there, along with the nose cone. Be looking inside the cowling. If you have an aircraft that's been sitting for quite a while, you want to make sure that you don't have mice or squirrels or birds, anything trying to make a nest inside of there. If you do see signs or evidence of that, take the cowling off, see what's in there. It might save you on your run-up and pre-flight. Okay. We do have an alternator belt right there, checking to make sure that's tight. Come back down to the front. I'm checking to make sure that our landing lights haven't been cracked or beat or anything like that. The intake is nice and clear. And I'm also looking at the front tire. We should have roughly 3 inches typically. We know that the strut's working pretty good. The exhaust manifold, okay, that's nice and clean there. The other leading edge. Go around this side, same thing. I'm looking for all the screws, make sure things are intact. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and check the oil. And on this aircraft, we like to have 6 quarts, and we're right at 6. Looking really good there. Nice and clean. The only thing left in here is the fuel sump. I'm not going to check that at the moment because we're inside the hangar. I'll do that a little bit later, but I'll leave this open to remind me that I need to get that done. Okay. Same thing on this side. I'm checking the door hinges, make sure they're intact. Everything looks in place here. I'll go ahead and dip this tank now. Again, I'm going to dip this a couple of times. And we've got 13 gallons on this side. So I had 15 on the other, 13 on this. I know I've got fuel for this next flight coming up for an hour. And looking back up here, leading edge, kind of get a nice general view of the aircraft. I want to make sure nothing's damaged to the point that I would squawk it and keep it on the ground. Everything's intact. Ailerons, they have freedom of movement. Same thing on the other side. I'm checking to make sure the piano hinge is up there. We've got the nut adjustment nuts intact and it's solid. It's not moving on me. And I'm working my way down to here again too. Again, we're still doing a perimeter around the aircraft. Come over here to the flaps. A little bit of play, that's good, it's not bound up. Checking the roller bearings and the tracking. Adjustment nuts. And the same thing looking good over here, okay? Back to this tire. Making sure we don't have any hydraulic fluid that's leaking. We've got tread, we've got air, everything is nice and intact. The strut itself, the landing brace, looking good. As we work our way to the back side, main things I'm looking back here is make sure that the empennage, I don't have any popped rivets, there's no signs of stress, things that are broken back in here. Everything's intact. And working my way around over here. Again, watch your fingers wherever you move flight surfaces. Freedom of movement. I like to check the nuts and the cotter pins. Make sure everything's in place. One of the things that people tend to miss quite often is when you lift the elevator up on the trim tab, a lot of people tend to miss this. They don't look under the airplane. So this is a good spot to look and make sure that the cotter's on the other side. Back here to the rudder, it's got a little bit of freedom of movement. Use caution if it says do not push. Okay, some aircraft you cannot do that. But I like to look back here, look for signs of any stress. Same thing, I'm checking the pins, make sure they're intact, and I got freedom of movement here also. I continue to work my way around, looking for stuff under here. Look under. We've got some attachments for the rudder, make sure that they're still intact. I like to make sure that nothing's gone a little haywire with it. Same time, I can look down the aircraft. Same thing on the other side, and look for any signs of stress, cracks, pop rivets, and such like that. The back luggage door, make sure it's secure. I like to run my hand around it, make sure that it's not going to pop open. Then we're pretty much back to the cockpit where we can finish our rest of the pre-flight. Thank you very much for joining me, and we'll see you next on the next subject.